All right, is everyone all here? We're all set, thank you. Okay, this is, January 4th, 2020. This is a meeting of the Lake Bluff Electoral Board. And could we have a roll call, please?
Chair O'Hara.
Here.
Member Dewart.
Here.
Member Michael, I'm here.
Thank you. This, of course, is being conducted via Zoom according to Section 7 of the Open Meetings Act, as well as Governor Pritzker's latest disaster proclamation, which has declared important meetings of more than 10 persons to be unsafe and imprudent at this time. You should note that it is at this point imprudent to conduct an in-person meeting of this electoral board. The village administrator is present at the village hall. The village's municipal officers electoral board is a special public body that's convened for the sole purpose of conducting hearings and making rulings on objectives to nominating petitions submitted by candidates for village offices. The membership of this board is set by statute, and members are required to serve unless they have a direct conflict. Either they are candidates whose own petitions are being challenged, or they are running in a race in which their opponents' petitions are being challenged. None of these circumstances exist, and thus the makeup of the Lake County Electoral Board is required by statute to be the village president, the village clerk, and the village trustee who has served the longest, which is trustee Mark Dewart. Village clerk has received four objections, 3 to candidates for village trustee and 1 for candidate for village clerk. At today's meeting, the electoral board will deal with some preliminary procedural matters and will call each of the cases to determine, 1, if the parties are present, and accept appearances from parties' legal counsel and any preliminary motions. We also will schedule full hearings on each of the objection cases and continue its proceeding to a certain date meeting, which will be this Friday at 1:30 p.m. Today's meeting is only for procedural issues and will not involve any substantive rulings or objections on these petitions. I would ask that our legal counsel elaborate on the legal process here.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Glenn, I think right now we can promote everybody before I start, because there will be an opportunity if they have any questions regarding the rules for them to voice them. So it might be a good idea to promote everybody.
All right, give me just a minute. We'll do that now. Mr. Friedman, I'm not seeing Catherine Hatch here in the list, but these are your other parties that I can identify.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. As you just heard, the Lake Bluff Municipal Electoral Board was called to order by the chairperson, Kathy O'Hara. And as she also indicated, there have been, and the clerk has received 4 objections, 3 for village trustee and 1 for village clerk. I just want to go through very briefly a couple of parameters and kind of how the process will proceed from here. We have sent out to everybody the documents that we have received for each of these cases. They are generally the call, which identifies all the relevant information about the case, the call agenda, the actual objector's petition for each of the cases, as well as the documents related to the relevant candidates' petitions and filing, including the statement of candidacy and all the other relevant documents that were submitted. And finally, we provided the proposed rules of procedure that will govern the electoral board's proceedings once they are approved by the electoral board, which is the next item on the agenda. As the chairperson said, the scope of these proceedings is limited. It is solely to rule and consider the specific objections that have been filed. It is not about the merits or substance of anybody's candidacy or anything else regarding the election in April. It is solely about the petitions that have been filed and the specific objections that have been filed to each of those petitions. Each case is separate unto itself. So the board will consider each case separately, will rule each one separately. That's the case even though at least with one set of or two of the petitions, the same attorney or the same objector has filed both those objections, but each of those cases will still be considered separately by the board, as you'll see as we go forward. The next item on the agenda will be the board's adoption of rules of procedure, and those have been provided to everybody. Those generally address the issue of appearances, of this initial hearing today, of the fact that we're conducting this meeting remotely because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the scope of the board's authority, how we will handle if there are any defaults in any of the objections, the general order of presentation for each of the cases, evidence that the board may consider or that the parties may present, and finally, or not finally, the scope of the case, which is what I just described, and then finally, how the board will make its decision. The board's deliberations, the board is a public body. The board's deliberations will be in public. The board operates by majority vote. And at the end of each case, the board will have to decide how it is going to rule on each objection, either to sustain the objection, which will be to agree with the objection and declare the nominating petitions invalid, or to overrule the objection and therefore declare that the relevant nominating papers are valid. That decision for each of the case will be by motion and a roll call vote. All the votes of the board will be by roll call. And each of the decisions of the board will also be, once that motion is made, will be directed to prepare a written decision that the board will subsequently approve and sign, each of the board members. I think for now that's it. When we start to call each case, we'll have specific questions for the parties with regard to each case about appearances, the anticipated cases that the objectors or the candidates want to put on or not put on, legal and factual issues. We'll want to go through those for each of the case so that the board can lay out how each case will proceed from here. But at this point, Madam Chairman, I would suggest, I would ask the board members whether you have any questions regarding the next agenda item, which was the adoption of the rules of procedure, and we can answer those questions. And then I would also propose, Madam Chairman, that you see if any of the parties have any questions to those rules of procedure. Once we clear away any questions that there might be, then it would be appropriate to have a motion to adopt the procedures.
Thank you very much, Mr. Friedman. All right, the proposed rules of procedure have been in all the call packets that were sent to all members of the electoral board and all parties, and they must be formally adopted. Are there any, again, I will repeat what Mr. Friedman says, does members of the electoral board have any questions regarding the rules of procedure? Right, hearing none, I would ask that if anyone in the audience, the and the candidates have any questions regarding the rules of procedure. They state those now, please. Okay, I'm hearing none. All righty, now we will call each case individually.
Let's have a motion to adopt the
Oh,
rules.
I should have said that. My apologies. All right. Thank you, sir. And a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All righty, roll call, please.
Chair O'Hara.
Aye.
Member Dewart.
Aye.
And the village clerk votes aye.
Thank you. All right, now we'll get down to the cases. We will start with in the matter of the objections of Linda K. Hine to the nomination papers of Aaron TOWLE as a candidate for the office of trustee of the village of Lake Bluff. Mr. Friedman, would you go from there?
Sure. So I think Linda Hind is present, correct? Thank you. You're on mute.
Here. I am here.
Thank you. And Aaron Toll is present as well.
Yes.
And I believe that each Linda and Aaron have filed appearances. Is that correct? Linda, I think you filed an appearance.
I did.
And Aaron, have you filed an appearance?
I have not filed anything.
Okay. We'll need you to file an appearance. Just if you're representing yourself without an attorney, it's one page. We'll email that to you. Just a procedural matter. Okay. The next question is, does either party have any preliminary motions or matters that they would like to address regarding the case?
I have
No.
a statement, but that can wait until the hearing.
Okay. The nature of the case, I want to just confirm this. It does not appear to me, but please correct me if I'm wrong, that this case is not, there are no factual issues in dispute in this case. The question is, as a legal matter, whether or not the petitions are valid. But there's no dispute about what was filed. And if that's the case, and again, I'm going to ask you to confirm because I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. If that's the case, then the question is, does either party want to file anything with regard to the legal arguments about whether or not the petition should be, whether or not the objection should be sustained or overruled? The board would likely give either party an opportunity to file, legal arguments with regard to the matter. Not required. The objector can stand on the objector's petition if the objector desires, but I think the board would likely provide that opportunity if it was desired.
No, I have no desire to put anything else in at this time.
Okay. Mr. Toll?
I have nothing to submit.
Okay. All right, then, Madam Chairman, I think for that, then we can just schedule that. We can continue this case until the Friday hearing, at which time the objector and Mr. Toll will be heard.
All right, thank you, sir. We will
So
now, okay,
let's be official about it. Let's just have a motion to continue this case
until Friday. All right,
Friday at 1:30 p.m. And the Zoom information for that meeting will be provided subsequent to this meeting.
okay, thank you. All right, could we have a roll call?
Or a motion and then a second.
Motion, excuse me, I need a motion to accept this.
I'll motion to accept.
Thank you, thank you. Do I have a second on that one?
Second.
Thank you. Could I have a roll call, please?
Member Dewart.
Aye.
Village clerk. Aye. Chair O'Hara.
Aye. We will now proceed down to the next case in the matter of objections of Frederick B. Lesser to the nomination papers of Catherine Hatch as a candidate for the office of village clerk of the village of Lake Bluff.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairman.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairman. My name is Catherine Hatch.
And good afternoon, both of you. I think I have both of you filed appearances.
No, I have not. I am putting one together now.
Okay.
For you, Mr. Friedman, I filed this document. Is that constitute an appearance? That is, it's got my name, phone number, contact information on it, but I don't know if that constitutes an appearance.
We'll check, and if it's not the right form, we'll email it to you. You can just submit it back.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Any preliminary motions or preliminary matters to discuss in this case from either party?
Not from me.
No, Judge. Sorry, no.
And the same question, the nature of this case appears to be of a legal nature as opposed to any factual dispute. Is that correct?
It appears that way. There's no statute. There's no authority cited in his objections. I'm not sure.
Right. I guess my question is there any factual issue that we need any evidence on, or do we have all the evidence we need by what's been submitted? And then the question is the legal argument of whether or not the alleged deficiencies constitute fatal defects.
Correct, sorry.
No further factual evidence, no.
Okay. And how do the parties, what's the party's preference with regard to submitting legal briefs, or do you just want to make legal arguments at the continuation of the hearing on Friday?
We can do it verbally on the Friday.
Yes, please.
Okay, Madam Chairman, then you can proceed to continue this until Friday as well.
Okay, so I need a motion to continue this until Friday. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Stewart. Do I have a second, please?
A second.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All righty, roll call.
I'm sorry, what time will it be on Friday?
1:30.
1:30 p.m.
You will get a Zoom link for that.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
As the village clerk, I vote aye.
Okay,
Chair O'Hara,
aye.
Member Dewar,
Aye.
All right, we will now proceed down to the third. The matter of the objections of Frederick Lesser to the nomination papers of Susan H. Ryder as a candidate for the office of village trustee of the village of Lake Bluff. Mr. Friedman?
Okay, I know that Mr. Lesser is here, and we'll, same thing on the appearance. Ms. Ryder, have you filed an appearance?
I have not.
Okay, we'll provide that to you, and you can just email it back to us.
Mm-hmm.
Any preliminary motions or matters that the parties have for the board at this time?
Nothing additional.
Okay, and I assume the same thing as the previous cases, that we have a legal question here, not a factual one?
That is my understanding as well.
Yes, that's my understanding.
Thank you. Do the parties want to file anything, or do you want to present oral argument only on Friday?
Again, verbal argument on Friday will be fine.
Oral argument is fine. And the only request I would have is that if this case could be put last on the call, as I have a prior standing and commitment that will not end until 2 o'clock.
No,
Okay.
No
Not a
objection
problem.
from Mr. Lesser. I think we can accommodate that. All right, Madam Chairman, you can do the motion to continue.
Thank you. All righty, I will need a motion for this, please.
a motion, make a motion.
Thank you. A motion. And do I have a second?
You have a second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Chair O'Hara,
Aye.
Member Dewar,
Aye.
and as the village clerk, aye.
All right, we will now proceed to the last matter, which is in the matter of objections of Linda K. Hind to the nomination papers of Mary A. Collins as a candidate for the office of trustee of the village of Lake Bluff. Friedman?
I am seeing Ms. Collins come on, but she's muted and by phone. I just want to make sure she can hear and speak. Glenn, do you know whether she can hear us or able to unmute?
Yes, I was just pulling up the reference right now. Miss Collins, you'll need to punch *6 into your keypad and then we can hear you.
Okay, I think that worked, right? Can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay, all right, great.
Great. The question is to Ms. Hind and Ms. Collins whether appearances have been filed, and if not, we can provide them to you so you can return them to us.
I've filed mine.
I have not filed one.
Okay, we'll get that to you, and if you could just return it by email today, that would be great. And then any preliminary matters or preliminary motions from either side?
No. None on mine.
No.
Okay. The nature of this case appears to be a legal question as opposed to anything factual. Is that your understanding as well, your assessment of the case?
Yes.
Yes.
And do either of the parties desire to file any written legal briefs, or would you like to orally present your case on Friday?
Orally.
Orally is fine by me as well.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chairman?
Thank you. All righty. Do I have a motion to move this forward?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Dewar. Do I have a second on that one, please?
Second.
Thank you. And roll call.
Member Dewar,
Aye.
village clerk votes aye. Chair O'Hara.
Aye. At this time, we will allow for public comment that pertains to these specific proceedings. Is there anyone from the audience here that would like to speak regarding this proceeding? Okay, hearing none. Next meeting of this board will be on Friday at 1:30 p.m. via Zoom. That will be sent to you in advance of the meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Dewar. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Village clerk votes aye. Chair O'Hara.
Aye.
Member Dewar.
Aye.
We are hereby adjourned until Friday at 1:30.
Thank you.